Hello everybody, this is Keren from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you for joining me for today's project. This is what I'm going to be making today. It's quite a simple card, but I don't know whether you can see, but the card has been given a suede sort of texture. And if you would like to see how I made the card, how it all went together, then please do stay with me and I will show you. I'm using this stamp set, which is in the annual catalogue. It's called Crazy About You, and it is part of a bundle, which also comes with the Hello You Thinlits dies. And I've used the word you from the Thinlits dies to, and I've cut it out in Fun Foam. Now that's going to be a bit too big for what I want on my card, so I am going to shrink it. So I'm going to bring in my big silicone mat just to give my table a bit of extra protection, and I've got my my piercing tool ready to hold it down, and I've got my heat gun, and I'm going to turn the sound off. Okay, I think that's about the size I want it, so I'm going to splat it with a block while I put my heat tool away. And as you can see, it's made my silicone mat bubbled up, but it can take it. It will eventually, it will go back flat again, so don't worry about that. I've done this before. Okay, so I'm trying to decide whether or not to colour that, and I think I'll have a go with the old Blackberry Bliss, because this was light brown and I cut up a whole heap of them, and I only discovered about a year ago that you could actually do that with Fun Foam, and it was like, oh, what a discovery. Okay, so I'm going to squish that down with my ink block, with my stamping block to get that good coverage. And trying not to get Blackberry Bliss ink on my fingers, because that stuff is the very devil to get off. I think any kind of colours that are in the reds and the purples, if you get them where you don't want them, they are a nightmare. So let's push that out the way. So how's that looking? Alright, that's had a chance for the, for 3, 2, 1. So that's had a chance for the Blackberry Bliss to dry, and now I'm going to finish the rest of the sentiment. So I've got the Blackberry Bliss black ink. Okay, that's had a chance for the ink to dry, so now I'm ready to stamp the rest of the sentiment that goes on the front of the card. So I'm back with the Blackberry Bliss ink again, which you notice I keep closed up in between outings, and I've got the word Just Be from the Crazy About You set, and I'm just inking that up, and I've got my silicone mat underneath because this is a photopolymer stamp, and I'm just pressing down, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm taking that away, and that's stamped nicely. So I've got my 2-inch circle punch, and I'm putting the Just Be towards the top of the circle, and that can go away. And very important, close up the Blackberry Bliss ink before it can get everywhere, because it does. It's its ambition in life. And I'm going to apply this with a bit of wet glue, I think. So I'm going to spread a little bit of the Tombow on the back of my hand. Now, if you don't like doing this, you could put it onto a piece of plastic, or you could still use your hand but put a glove on. Be careful if you have sensitive skin. I don't. I apparently have rhinoceros hide, so that is fine. Okay, so I've got my Just Be here. Just going to wipe off my tweezers so I don't get glue where I don't want it. And pick that up, and I'm Just going to pop that down just about there. Piece of tissue to press it down, because the ink has smudged a little bit, but do you know what? I'll put a flower or something over that. Nobody will see that. Okay. Now, normally when we do this technique, we use brown craft paper, but I've decided to see how well it will work with some of our coloured papers. And so I've got Rich Raspberry, Blackberry Bliss, Delightful Dijon, I think that's Perfect Plum, that's Island Indigo, and some Old Olive. And I've got my glycerine and water solution. Now, I think this is about 1/4 glycerine topped up with water. And you need to use, well, you don't need to use, but it's better to use the glycerine you get from the pharmacist, not the stuff you get in the cake decorating aisle, only because the stuff you get from the pharmacist is a lot less expensive, and you don't need the you know, the ultra pure stuff. You're not icing a cake, so you don't need the stuff that's food grade and all ready to go. So either the pharmacist, or I got a very big bottle, I think about 1 litre, from eBay. And the reason why I got 1 litre was because I was making a homemade jelly plate, which worked very well. Alright, so I'm giving these a really good soaking, but I'm only going on one side because I want a suede effect, not a faux leather effect. So I'm really giving them a good drenching, and I'm just going to come in and rub that all in and pick up all the overspray, and oops, and try not to bump into the tripod. That would be good. And just rub it all in. So just make sure that it's all absorbed in to the card. And some of these colours are absorbing better than others because it's sitting on top of the Old Olive there, but it's kind of soaking in to the Perfect Plum. Okay, so that one I think could do with a little bit more. And because this stuff is so inexpensive, you know, it's not going to break the bank. The other thing is give your spray bottle time to recover. Just rub that in again. And the Rich Raspberry is, it's the surface on that one is bubbling up beautifully, and I don't know whether it's because I just happen to have picked the right side of it. I'll turn that way, so I've got myself room. I'll turn that one that way as well, so that I'm not contaminating it with other colours, because of course once you get it wet, the colour may come off. But I'm not really too bothered, because it's all going to be die cut out at the end. Alright, I'm just going to let that sit, and we'll come back to it later. That was yesterday, so these have been all night drying, and they've come out pretty well. You can see they've got a kind of suedey that was last 3, 2, 1. That was yesterday. That was yesterday. These have been. That was yesterday, so my bits of card have had all night to dry, and I do recommend giving them a good time to dry because it takes much longer than you would imagine if you've really soaked the card like I have, and this is the result. This is what they've come out like. On this one, I've actually taken it a step further, and I'll show you what I did with this piece here, I think. So this is a wet and dry pad. Bit of wet and dry paper. Ordinary sandpaper will do just as well. I just happen to have this around, and it's quite fine. This says it's 180 grit, whatever that means. And I'm just rubbing over the surface of my card. Just to raise it up, and that gives it a sort of a nap finish. And I know that you can't feel this, but that really does feel quite suede-y. So I did all of those, and on these pieces here, I crumpled them up while they were wet, and they were very crumpled, and then I ran them back through the Big Shot with nothing on it, just between the two plates, just to flatten them out a bit, and that gives a kind of different effect. And same thing again, I can come in and I can raise up the surface a bit. Okay, so that's another effect. And that's the one, that's the same colour as that, but I didn't crumple it. That's actually the reverse of it. That's better. So you can see a slight difference there. While I was at it, I also did some black and some brown. This is basic black, and this is chocolate chip. And I cut out and shaped some flowers with the Botanical Blooms dies, just to see how well the card would take it after it had been treated, and it actually did it quite well, I think. So that is how I make my fake suede. And now I'm going to go away and make something out of it and use it on a project. Okay, so these are some of the papers that I've treated with the faux suede technique. This is Delightful Dijon, and this is Blackberry Bliss, and I've cut this piece to 3 3/4 by 5 1/2, and that's going to go on the front of my card. So I'm going to do that now. First thing, I'll put the other two pieces out of the way because I shan't need them for a moment. And this again is a Delightful Dijon card, which is 4 inches by 11 1/2 and folded at the 5 3/4 mark. And basically you just take a piece of A4 and chop it to more or less in half. And this is going to be matted onto the front of my card. And I just love these colours together. They are so rich, and you know what? I probably wouldn't have thought of putting them together myself, but Stampin' Up are a lot cleverer than I am about colours, and they suggested this as a colourway in, I think it's Bohemian, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Okay, not sure whether or not you can see the texture on that, and my screen has gone to screensaver, so I can't see it either. Just about, I think. But trust me, there is a suede texture there. Now this is the Delightful Dijon, and this is not so textured. For some reason, some of the colours take better than others. So I've got a sanding block, and I'm just roughing up the surface here. And that brings up a lovely rough suede surface. Whoops, just look out the way. Okay, right. Now, 2 3/8 of an inch scalloped circle punch, and I'm going to turn that over so that the jaws clamp down on the roughened side. And there you go. So I'm going to bring back the 2-inch circle that I punched out previously, and I'm going to apply this, because it's a textured surface, I'm going to apply it with a bit of wet glue. Now, I want this to have a dimensional texture, but again, this is surfaced. It's got a nap on the surface, so I want to make sure that things cling quite well. So I'm going to show you a little trick. So first of all, I'm putting on my dimensionals, and I'm taking the backings off. I'm also taking the dimensional off. Didn't mean to do that. That was a mistake. Okay, put another one on. And I've got my Tombow, and I'm just going to put a little spot of the Tombow onto the back of the dimensionals. And what that will do is, first of all, it will give me a little bit more time to position this where I want it to be, but also when it dries it will stick a great deal better than just the dimensionals on their own. So let's put that just like that. Maybe off to one side a bit, because I want to fill this area up with flowers and leaves. So yeah, I think I'm just about happy with that. Okay, so I've got a whole heap of flowers. If you've been watching this channel at all, you will know by now that I don't make one flower at a time. No, I make a lot of them, and I've made all of these with the Faux Suede technique. And I've got some rich raspberry and some I think that's Bermuda Bay, and that is definitely Delightful Dijon, and the leaves are in Old Olive. So excuse me for a minute while I just play and just pop things around where I want them. And decide on the colours that I like. See, that one got a bit broken, so I could put that one, I could tuck that one out underneath something else, and then nobody would see it. You see, there are no mistakes in crafting. There are only changes of design direction. But actually I don't think I am going to do that, but I could if I wanted to. This is the whole purpose of the and I want to cover up that splodge I made. Can you see, there are no mistakes in crafting, just changes of design direction. Adhesive on that one. There we go. So there is the finished card, and inside I've just popped a piece of very vanilla envelope paper just so that there's somewhere to write a message. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. I realise that it was a bit technique heavy, and I hope that you didn't mind that too much. So if you did like the video, then please do give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. If you would like to see more of my tutorials, please do subscribe to this channel. There will be more along soon. I've got a blog, I've got a Facebook page, and if you want to explore those, then you can get there from the links in the more information box below this video. If you want to get hold of some of the things that I've used, then there is a link to my Stampin' Up shop as well. But just for now, I do thank you very much for watching, and I hope that I'm going to see you again soon. Bye bye.